Imagine a strand of DNA. The strands of DNA's purpose is to pass and replicate its genes. However, from a bunch of randomly organized molecules, we have life as we call it today. Humans are just DNAs that created architecture as our cells to live in and to reproduce. But like the DNA, we do not become aware of the cell we're living in. Architecture has always been considered static and only responds to the site. This thinking of architecture as a parasitic force limits its potential to achieve a greater purpose. Architecture should be thought as an animal that eats and absorbs its surrounding while also leaving traces for other forms of life to grow. Through these thinkings, the archicreature of the future will be able to reshape the land, allowing for inhabitation of territories previously inhospitable for living conditions. Let's take a trip to one of the most well-known empty land, the Sahara Desert. In the region of Egypt, the desert contains a fascinating area. 50 miles from the coast of the Mediterranean Sea is the Qatar Basin. The area of this basin is so large that it matches Lake Ontario in size if filled with water. This species of Arctic creature is making its way to achieve that. Its purpose is to bring water from the Mediterranean Sea into the basin to create an artificial salt lake, while laying its human egg pods along the way. The high amount of water evaporation from this lake will cause rainfall to the surrounding area, stimulate vegetation growth, and in turn providing a habitable environment for its eggs to thrive. As a species of the desert with limited resources, this type of Arctic creature gains its energy from wind and solar. The back of the creature is always exposed to the wind from the ocean, causing it to evolve into a vortex generator that allows air to curve around its body, making contact with every scale of its skins. At the bottom of the creature is a series of bumps. The irregular surface allows wind to easily flow through while carrying moisture sucked up from the salt water canal by the tree-root system below. The high evaporation rate, in addition to the wind, created a cool environment on its back, providing a desirable conditions for the human DNA to gather and interact with the terrain, nourishing the well-beings. This bumpy terrain also provides the playground for many types of DNA. For example, this one is expressing its playful traits. The other genes seeks quietness, and some adult genes are seeking a challenge. The condition at the rear also created a moving beach in the desert, keeping the genes active and healthy for reproduction. As the air travels above, the eggs it carries on the side captures this moist air into fresh water. The shape of these eggs evolved from an ancient species of Iranian building called the Bashir or the Mawqaf. The living unit is located on top with a basement that allows air to travel through. Water is condensed in the basement while the air escapes in the back of the building, carrying foul air from the bathroom and kitchen out. The waste produced by these two rooms is used to feed the garden outside, and the excess waste is carried into the stomach to be processed. The front of the scale is a wind turbine that gathers the concentrated air into one spot, maximizing its energy input. In the front, a series of solar cells attached to a skeleton captures sunlight as energy. To reduce weight and maximize energy collections, these cells travel on the skeleton following the sun path. The lungs is where the residue of the air travels to, where the moist air is fully absorbed by the plant before escaping. The lungs consist of 3 layers. The outer layers consist of tropical plants that favors the light and can withstand high heat, while the interior prefers shade and cool environment. Sandwiched between them are the veins that act as platform, allowing the DNA to walk through to absorb the nutrients provided by the plants. These veins run through the body, forming the creature's venous system. The creature's venous system is a fascinating combination. It carries out not only nutrients, water, and energy, but also human DNA throughout the body. However, unlike smaller matters, these DNAs have a strong tendency to mingle, clump together, and travel to their desire. The veins become a walking platform that connects the eggs to the central system. The area where all the veins connect becomes the heart. In this area, a series of steps allow the DNA to travel between levels, as well as providing a common place for them to rest, exchange, and connect while enjoying the view of the creature on its back. The mouth is where the creature eats the sand. This organ still retains its ancestors' shape of the canal digger in earlier civilization. However, the sand is not spilled out to the side, but instead consumed in the stomach, where the fibrous waste from the garden and the nutritious waste from the egg is mixed before being expelled through its longest legs. When it is time to reproduce, the creature's leg rakes the land, depositing fertilizers. This leg also performs the task of digging a desalination channel, as well as dropping off the egg on the side. This channel uses a passive water condensation method to provide fresh water for farm crops to grow and fresh water for the eggs. Some of its skeletons are also detached to be used as materials for the structure, as well as the solar cell it packs in the front unfolds to create a solar field. The eggs are laid in a pattern that still allows them to retain its function to gather wind. The wind in this purpose, however, serves as a cooling device as fresh water is readily available from the desalination plant nearby. After dropping off, these eggs can either retain its original shape, or the DNA can reconstruct, stack, or break them down to use in different conditions that fit the environment. This variety in shape, as well as flexible modularity, ensures the DNA to have a freedom to choose. Many years later, a new colony of DNA begins to form. The creature's journey is yet to finish, however. When it finally reaches the basin, using the last of its body, it lies steadily at the end of the canal. Its body now turned into a hydro dam, and the wind turbine it carries on the back turns into a water turbine, continuing to provide electricity for future generations. Plants from the garden begins to occupy the rest of its body, consuming its remains but also forming a green shell in its back. 20 years has passed since the creature stopped moving. The younger generation stumble upon the remains of the creature and begin to give it a new life. They build a park, a playground, and a community center on its back. Elsewhere, the DNAs are building a new Aki creature, ready for another journey on the earth and begin a new cycle of life.